Thank God, an exorcist.
My name is Edward Jacobson. I am the senior pastor at the Greater Ebenezer Voice of the Vampire Church of Twilight.
One second. Fluffy Kitty, why is there a Twilight's witness at my door?
I understand you're having some paranormal issues with certain DVD. Well, if you would, just allow me to come in for just a moment of your time.
No.
Alright, so, well, if I could just have a moment of your time right here, I guarantee you that not only can I make your paranormal issues go away, I can convert you to the Church of Twilight.
You know what? You think you can? Go ahead. Go ahead. You know what? You have my attention. Give it your best shot.
Alright, so I'm gonna preach it to you. Now, I know of great love. The greatest love of our generation. Yes, sir. That is the love between Bella and Edward. A love so great that no man, nor terribly rendered CG werewolf, could possibly tear apart. Now, let me ask you this. These two have been together for a multitude of books. These two have been together for a multitude of movies. Let me ask you, what great cataclysm of the universe, what perfect storm, what great shift in the nexus of our universe could possibly tear these two asunder?
A paper cut.
Well, I can obviously see that you are not going to be reasoned with. So, I bid you adieu, sir. But, whenever you want a pretty girl around, you'll come crawling back to me. At the Greater Ebenezer, Voice of the Vampire, Church of Twilight.
Yeah. Have a blessed day.
A paper cut. Now, before I scream and curse so loudly that I rupture your eardrums, let me have someone else to just echo my sentiments. Wyatt Earp.
No! Son of a bitch! No!
Now, originally I wasn't planning on ever touching this series again. I mean, after the first movie, I'd pretty much figured I had it pegged as ridiculously cheesy woman porn. But after reading that the main catalyst was a paper cut, I had to buy this movie to see how ridiculous it was. So, before I go into this unholy crypt of anal fudge that is New Moon, let me just give it some positive feedback. At least there's enough character development and enough relationship building between Jacob and Bella that it doesn't seem forced. It's actually pretty well fleshed out. And there's probably a pun intended there somewhere, because let's face it, ladies, Jacob makes Usher look like a pillar of modesty. And at least there's enough action and enough storyline to drive this movie and make it watchable. But beyond that, it's a pretty miserable excuse for a movie in the romantic genre. I mean, it was better than I expected, but after the first movie, I just expected a shit stain on a film strip. So, I won't bore you with a plot-by-plot analysis, but I will review just a few of the things that make this movie bad. Let's start off with some bad acting, shall we?
Alright. Yeah, great. Okay, I'll see you at 7. Jasper, no fair with the mood control thing.
Sorry, Bella.
Wait a second. Mood control? Did I miss the part where she was supposed to emote in that scene? Because so far the only thing I've seen is bland to apathetic in 0.6 seconds. But this brings up another good point. Why is it that Jasper's mood control powers work against Bella, yet Dakota Fanning's painful acting doesn't? Isn't Dakota Fanning supposed to be a Volturi, which is a more sophisticated and higher level vampire? They never explain this.
Show me the love.
I've seen more love between Barney and his friends.
I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, then come on. Oh, come on.
One thing that bothers me is it's constantly trying to allude to Shakespeare, as if to make it Shakespearean by proxy. And really, that just doesn't work. I mean, no matter how hard you try, this movie will never be Shakespeare. Go back. Hold on one second. Good God, it's Shakespeare, not a Sibian. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. The plot line that started it all.
Paper cut.
Paper cut? Sorry, but I don't think I've ever seen a paper cut make that much blood. Unless the Cullen family tradition is to wrap presents in sheet metal. Or she has hemophilia, which would explain why they like her. Maybe her blood just flows easier. But then again, according to this same scene, she's a xenomorph, so I don't think her blood would be healthy to drink. Just on a side note, here's a quick question for you. Why did he have to protect his girlfriend Chris Brown style? He obviously had the time and the strength to block Jasper from hitting her, so why did he, in effect, make her injuries worse? I think I've made my point, but let's press on.
Don't do anything reckless.
Ladies and gentlemen, bad writing.
For Charlie's sake. And I'll promise something to you in return. This is the last time you'll ever see me.
Let me get this straight. He tells Bella not to do anything reckless so that he can stay out of her life, when obviously the thing that she wants is to be a part of his life, so much so that she's willing to give up everything she has. Yeah, why don't you just put a big giant motherfucking bat symbol in the sky? Bella, don't do anything reckless or that'll become a convenient plot point down the line. Ladies and gentlemen, on Masterpiece Theatre, we have the 360 camera turn cliché, mixed with the seasons changing montage. It doesn't get much better as far as cinematography. I mean, I get it, breaking up is hard to do, but damn, girl acts like she was in Vietnam. In the end, the storyline is still so cliché and seems to take itself far more seriously than it should. The relationship between Edward and Bella is still horrendously underdeveloped and not really compelling in the least. Some of the dialogue is still so awkward that it makes genuine character development kind of laughable. And while the acting has improved, it's still pretty bad. Pattinson always looks like he's in some kind of painful trance, as if he can't remember his lines, or he's actually realizing that these lines are really stupid, and neither he nor I can really decide which one it is. Kristen Stewart still emotes about as much as Liam Neeson in a coma, and Taylor Lautner is tolerable but comes across as a child actor with abs of steel. Now, I still just can't get past this catalyst. He breaks up with her because of a paper cut. He obviously has the strength to fight Jasper, and his family is with him, so it's not like he's really struggling to protect her. And why doesn't he just turn her into a vampire? I mean, I understand that he doesn't want her soul to be damned, and at least that's a legit reason, but in the end, it really doesn't make any sense. She pretty much knows what she wants, and given her knowledge of how the vampires live and their histories, she has a pretty good idea of what kind of struggles she'll face. And she's making the conscious decision to become a vampire. So just turn her. I mean, sack up, Edward. Seriously, either turn her into a vampire or learn to protect her. I mean, from this, the only thing that I can glean is that Edward became a vampire before he hit puberty. But the biggest problem for me is that Bella is still a completely unlikable character. Even more in this one than in the last one. At least in the last one, she had the personality of a brick wall. In this one, she's genuinely a bad person. She's manipulative and insecure, which isn't exactly the best role model for young women. And that's the only things you really gather from her. Because not only does she toy around with the emotions of another guy when she knows she's still in love with Edward, but she pressures Edward into turning her into a vampire because she feels insecure, and really no other reason than that. Now, what is the moral to this story? Well, the only thing I can glean from it is that it's okay to try and kill yourself for your boyfriend, being recklessly inconsiderate, all to see a guy who broke up with you because of a paper cut. And what's the vast consequence in the universe for this? She gets proposed to. That is enough to make my piss come to a boil. That bothers me, that people idolize this girl because she's some kind of every woman, when in reality, she is a terrible character. She's one of the worst villains I've seen in any movie or any medium at all. My recommendation is to stay as far away from the series as possible. Unless you just love to torture yourself like I do, just stay away from it. It is absolutely one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And for women that believe that this is a good movie in the romantic genre, seriously, you need to have your head checked. I mean, if you think that Bella is a compelling main character, you're seriously a woman that I do not want to associate with, because she is not a good main character at all. She is a villain. She is an antagonist, not a protagonist. That's all there is to it. That is my review of Twilight New Moon. Could this be it? Could my dream finally be coming true? Supposedly there's a new one out called Breaking Dawn Part 1. And supposedly it's also the one where Bella loses her virginity to Edward. I imagine it going something like this.
I'm coming.
Bella, I don't want you to come.